Got some good stuff in here. This is what we need for the 1110 right there. I don't know if I'm pretty sure that I covered it in the past video, but the engine that was in that truck was seized very bad, and just there was no saving it. Got a big pile of parts off of it, salvaged everything we could. Unfortunately, the block was just not any good. So what I got here is a 345. Also, I believe the guy that I got this from, I believe he pulled this from S71 1210. So just like the green truck. This is a 71 1110, so it's a half ton. But it's also the grill up there, right there where I'm pointing. That grill came from that same truck. And the reason why it has a hole in it is because it went through a tornado. And a tornado threw a 2x4 through the grill, through the radiator. Really, my plan was I'm just getting this to rebuild it. But you know, when driving home, thinking about it, I think what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to kind of see if I can gauge its health. Just because it's 71, 50 something years old doesn't mean that it's not good. The engine in the green truck is extremely strong engine, runs really good, needs to be resealed really bad, but it doesn't need to be overhauled. So that might be kind of the same case with this one. So I want to make sure before we just go ripping it apart. So we might see, we'll just get it out, we'll see, look inside the cylinders with the camera, the scope, see what they look like, compression test, and if all that stuff looks good, we'll just see if we can get it to run. And then, you know, if that is successful, seems like a good engine, then, you know, maybe we just clean it up, reseal it, and roll with it. If it's got something wrong with it, you know, it's not going to be a good runner, then we'll rip it apart and rebuild it. Also have 727 transmission. Looks like it's probably been rebuilt at some point. This was from a different truck, obviously. The one that this one was in had a manual transmission. So, but the guy that I got this from, he hooked me up with everything we need here, bracket wise, for the kick down and all that stuff. We've got, I'm not sure if these cross members are the same for the 727 and the Borg Warner. Mine had the Borg Warner. They look the same, but we got this just in case. So I'm good either way on that. I really think I've got everything I need. The only thing is going to be drive shaft. You know, I have to figure out a drive shaft. But once we get it in there and get some measurements, then I can see. This one has a Dana 44 in the rear. My other one has the RA15. This is the drive shaft out of that one. But I think, to me, the Borg Warner looks like it's shorter. I know it's shorter. It's got to be shorter. So I don't know if that front shaft is going to be correct or not. But the guy that I got this from, he has a lot of these. So I think, you know, once I get the measurements and figure out what I'm going to need, I'll be able to get one. So. So here it is out of the truck. You know, this one's not, I don't know. It's got some definite crud that they typically have. So first thing I'm gonna do is clean this up. Before we do that, I'm gonna get all these hoses and crap out of the way that's gonna make it difficult, and we can make it easier to get all this stuff out of the way, and then we'll clean this up some. this engine up here on the trailer because I need to get it out of the garage to be able to pressure wash it. I don't want to do it in here. And it's tight. Getting this trailer in here, don't have much space to get out. I just need to get out just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put some of this Super Clean foaming spray on here. Obviously, it's going to take multiple coats. What I wanted to do was knock all the big stuff off first, but I was just making a mess. I tried to get to the edge of the garage here, and it was all blowing back in here on me. So I'm going to go ahead. We'll use multiple coats of this if we have to. I'm sure we'll have to use more than one, but we'll get it going. It is wet. Like I said, I think I mentioned it before, but you don't want to let this stuff dry on any surface. So the surface is kind of wet. We're going to spray it on. We're going to let it kind of work its magic while we can get the trailer positioned out here where we can wash it off. This foaming stuff is pretty great. All right, I'm about to call it a night here, but I just wanted to kind of catch up on where we are. So first thing I wanted to do is get the spark plugs out and just see how they looked. They all looked decent, except for number 3. Number 3 was fouling a little bit. This one just a touch, not bad. Here's the other over here. Really not that bad. Okay. Now, when I look with the scope, they all check out. Exception of one. One's got some, I say one cylinder, which actually happens to be number 8. Let me see if it's, it does appear, yeah, it's got some, let me see if I can do this where you can see it. Number 8 apparently sat with a valve open, and it's a little bit, it's got some rust on the cylinder wall. All the others look amazing. But number 8 is going to be a problem. Never recommend just taking one of these engines and firing it up when it's like if you're doing a rescue or something. Always pull these valve covers, because this is another one, just like the last one, where, you know, the motor oils from those days is it's not good, and it's not good. It's got stuff all gummed up. And if you go in here and you start cranking on this, you're going to end up breaking one of these push rods, because something's going to be stuck. And that's kind of what I'm feeling right now. I'm trying to turn it, and like right now, it's kind of at a stuck point. And you can see it's not that cylinder. That cylinder is clear of that rust spot in the cylinder wall, so it's not hitting that. It feels like something in the valve train. So one of these valves is stuck. Maybe a lifter's stuck, but it's enough to make it stop turning. So if you were just to throw a battery in this thing and just zing on it, you're going to break something. And you don't want to do that. So in the morning, what we'll do is we'll we'll take those the rockers off, and then we'll try turning it then. See if it spins then we know we've got something stuck in the valve train. Which is what I expect. That seems pretty typical with these when they've sat for a long time. Hopefully the valve cover gaskets have been changed, and you can see, they really put it on thick, and it went inside the engine, so I'm probably find some of that in the oil filter screen. I'm sure it's going to be kind of caked anyway just because of this oil. Let's see if we were draining back all right. Because that's a pretty, look at that right there. Look how, see that? There's just sludge there. And that's your drain back hole. This one looks better. That's typically the case. Well, actually, no, that's the front. Kind of expect, this is probably the one where it goes the most because the engine kind of tips back a little bit. That one's gummed up. Let's see about this side. This one's got a lot of that's just that stuff breaking off the top of the valve cover. See, it's all along there. And this one, it's got some crud in it. So yeah, I think the idea of just this thing being a runner, just resealing it's probably not going to happen. So here's why it wouldn't turn with the valve train on. If you listen, here all those are open. Got one that's stuck. There were actually 3 that were stuck, but the other 2, just a couple of taps with the hammer and they broke free. That one's not. So if somebody would have started this engine without checking this first, it probably would have broke that push rod right there. I'm going to get the intake off of here, and I already got it all loosened up. This one's actually pretty easy to get off. Most all the bolts came out without any problem. Usually these right here with the heat crossover, the I don't know what you call them, but basically where it lets the exhaust gas come through here and heat up the intake manifold. I don't know if it's just because of the heat and constantly, more extreme temperature change, but these tend to sometimes be the ones that give you some trouble. But usually they're not too bad. These bolt holes go all the way through the head, so they kind of tend to get oil and stuff. Alright, so here we are in the engine. What we're going to do is we're going to spot check one of these mains, and then probably 2 of the rods, if this looks okay. Actually looks really good. back for now. They're showing a little bit of signs of wear. I'll push that piston down, check the top, because I think the top tends to wear more than the bottom. Yeah, so on the top, let's see if I can get this to see the top. Top is actually through some of the layers of bearing material, so we'll go ahead and I'll put new bearings in this. I think what we'll do here is we'll stop this part. Essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the pan back on this, and everywhere where I was able to get with the Super Clean and the pressure washer is pretty much like bare metal, but on the sides here it was laying on the tire and stuff. It's still pretty grimy, so just couldn't get to it with the cleaning products and pressure washer. So but I think I'm just going to put the pan on it. I'm going to wire brush it down, and we've got a rear main that we're going to put in it, and we have a seal for the front. We've got a complete engine kit. I need to get some freeze plugs because we will replace all those. I'm going to wire brush this down. All right, so here we are after some Super Clean, pressure washing, wire wheeling. About maybe 90% of the heavy, thick junk off of there. Since we are going to go ahead and go full disassembly, I'm gonna get the pan back off, get the heads off. I want to see what the cam bearings look like. This pan had a bunch of crunchy stuff in the bottom of it. So I don't know if it was just old gasket material, if it was bearing material, which is very common for these to find the cam bearings down in the pan. So they're readily available now. When I did the engine for the Scout, I had to wait like 3 months to get cam bearings, but I believe they're readily available now, so I'll probably just put cam bearings in it. We'll re-ring it. Let's look at the bearings. The mains didn't look bad. The rod bearings, especially the upper ones, pretty worn. No grooving or anything like that, just pure wore out. So here are the pistons. The oil rings were stuck on every one of these, and on some of them the compression rings are stuck too. So okay, so there's a fully disassembled block now. Those cam bearings are looking pretty rough. Blocks fairly clean. Still a little bit of work to do before we paint it. Gotta get the front cleaned up. The side over here is not bad. Gonna get some freeze plugs, So replace all those. Kind of our bearing review. Camshaft bearings. These aren't the worst that I've seen. Usually they're delaminated really bad and chunks of them are down in the oil pan. The upper rod bearings are definitely used up. Got a bottom one there starting to come through the top layer there. Main bearings really didn't look too bad. A little bit of wear, but not bad. So now we're just waiting. Got rings, cam bearings, rod bearings, main bearings all coming. I already have the full gasket kit. I just didn't anticipate doing all this, but I'm going to finish getting this cleaned up. I've got a few things to check as far as measurements to make sure these cylinders are still not oval shaped or anything like that. Make sure that it is something we can just clean up with a hone. The camshaft, we'll need to make sure that it still specs right. Journals on the crankshaft, but we'll pick up in the next part with reassembly, as long as nothing with that stuff goes bad. I'm going to get after this. We'll pick up with I believe it'll be part 5 or 6, and we'll be doing assembly. We'll see you next time.